Hi, my name is Adil, and as you can tell, I'm really, really sick. Someone had a bad bug on that plane to Charlotte. But in any case, I'm here to share with you a few lessons that I learned in continuous delivery while I was there at LinkedIn. I was responsible for the algorithms and infrastructure behind job recommendations at LinkedIn, which is a system that probably most of us in this room have interacted with. I joined the company at a very interesting time, about 200 people. We had a monolith at that stage, and we were trying to move away from the monolith to microservices for all the reasons that we all know about. However, the goal was to move fast. However, we did that, but at the same time, microservices come with their own set of problems, such as the code up here that will go up in a second, that oftentimes we end up coming across, which is when you move to a microservices world, oftentimes debugging a microservices-oriented world becomes incredibly hard. I still remember this one point, one example where I was being responsible for the job recommendation algorithm. We deployed a new version of the algorithm which accidentally started recommending executive assistant to the CEO jobs to CEOs, which was not taken very lightly. And I had to debug that problem. Now, more than that, I think despite the move to microservices, we kept on having the same problem. We could not move as fast as we wanted to, right? We were stuck somehow at this 1 week cadence that we could not get beyond. So we spent a lot of time trying to understand what were the root causes. There were many, but the one that I would highlight that might be useful for some of you in the audience is this idea that our code deploys were tied to our feature deploys. What that simply means is that the moment we drop the code onto production servers, that's when the feature that was included in that code drop became available to 100% of customers, which is problematic because then the feature has to be ready for 250 million LinkedIn customers. Same for you guys. Maybe it's not 250 million, but maybe a million, maybe 1,000 or whatnot. The way we solved this problem was by turning to one of the simplest ideas in software delivery and architecture, feature flags. Simply mandate that every single feature is deployed is wrapped in a basic if-else statement that says if the feature is on for this customer, then show it, otherwise don't. As simple as that idea is, it gave us a very powerful lens in our system. Instead of looking at it as a set of microservices, we started looking at it as a set of features. Each one of them essentially having a dial in the cloud that we had access to. We could turn the dial up or we could turn the dial down, independent of code deploys, which was incredibly powerful because now what it allowed us to do was to go to truck development. We were able to move away from long-lived feature branches and merge them continuously into production without, by putting it behind a feature flag without having to worry about, well, what's the impact, right? We would keep the feature dark. Beyond that, we would then start showing the feature to internal employees just by turning the dial a little bit more and then do QA in production. Get real QA, as the speaker before me was saying, the failure scenarios in production are very different than the failure scenarios in your development environment. And so that's what it allowed us to do, to get comfortable with the impact of our feature on production. Similarly, we would do percentage-based rollouts, and we would get comfortable with the impact on performance. Right now, with real databases, real production traffic, what is the impact? Now, beyond that, the last advantage that I would point out is that we would begin to do targeting, right? There are many features that we would develop that were meant for specific customers, such as, say, your job seekers or whatnot. So we could do targeting with this basic idea. Not only would this dial be turned up, but it could also be turned down, right? I mean, if you detected a problem in your rollout, if instead of doing an emergency fix or a rollback, we would provide you with a kill switch. You would hit kill, and in a matter of seconds, that feature, independent of all others, would be rolled back from all others, which is incredibly powerful. And now that we are separating each feature from every other feature, we could begin to understand the impact of that individual feature on our customer experience, which was, oops. Well, in any case, we lost. But I'll keep talking. I think we're towards the end of our conversation anyway. So, so the thing, I mean, that's great. But what I would summarize this little talk by just saying one thing. There's a well-known axiom that the culture of your team or of your company impacts the product you create. That's very true. But I would argue that it's also the other way around. The products you build end up impacting your culture. So the product this specific product that we ended up building at LinkedIn ended up creating these values in our culture, which were incredibly valuable. A culture where there were no heroes, people showing up at 9 a.m. with baggy eyes and saying, well, I was up all night trying to fix production, was something that was considered bad. In addition, we got far more agile. From 1 week, we were able to deploy. By the time I left, we were delivering whenever we wanted to, which was multiple times a day. And lastly, we got better productivity because we were able to separate out multiple features from one another. So that's it. I thought I'd share that quick lesson from my experience. So thank you for hearing me.